We're live from the Rez here with special guest, the one, the only, Anthony Tesam, a.k.a. most people know him as Ant, a.k.a. most people know him on the Rez here as old Kickstand. How you doing today, man? Did anybody still call you that?
Yeah.
Now that you're all settled down and everything, you still Kickstand?
Every once in a while, I've run into the old folks that call me that. Not the old folks, but the old homies. And they still call me Kickstand or Kick or...
There's probably people that's all they know you by, a bit, huh?
Yeah. Some people just come up to me and call me Kickstand. They don't even know my first name, to be honest.
No, do they know why they call you that, though?
No, I don't think so.
You don't share that? Only certain people know that one.
Yeah, most people don't.
I know when you told me that, I said, this guy's lying. But I think most people Kickstand, back in the day, they probably thought that because you used to ride bikes a lot.
Yeah. And that's what I used to tell people, too, because I have it tattooed on my knuckles. They ask, what does Kickstand mean? And I say, it's because I used to ride motorcycles back in the day. I used to jump freestyle.
You didn't have your size matters shirt back then?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Do you miss riding bikes, or do you still get out there a little bit?
No. I cruise around on the 50 with my son, but other than that,
nothing.
No, I don't ride the big bikes no more. I had a ramp when I was younger. I had a 250, and since I have a kid and a family, I toned it down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to get hurt. I gotta keep my job up. I gotta keep the money coming in, so I don't jump no more. I don't ride. Because I can't just get on the bike and ride. When I ride, I gotta ride hard.
Yeah, you gotta go for it, jump and do all the...
Yeah,
I used to ride quads, and then like when it got to the step where you learn how to really jump good, and and it's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hurt myself.
Yeah.
Because if you're around that long enough, everyone's got like a busted shoulder, clavicle, or they're like, like a messed up heel because they wrecked somewhere. Like it seems like everyone's all beat up.
Oh yeah, that's how I injured my shoulder. I whipped it on my ramp and couldn't bring it back. Smashed right into the ground. That's how I first injured, and it didn't dislocate. And then I was sliding to second base in high school, and it dislocated then. But it all came back to riding.
Yeah. I remember when you were young. Not that I'm that much older than you, but I'm a little bit. Hey, old. I got some gray in there. But I remember back in the day, man. Well, when I was a little kid, no one even had cars, really. I mean, there's people that had some cars, everybody's kind of jumping on them. But I remember when, we got our industry going, and the people had a little bit of more money, and then you start seeing the motorcycles, the quads, and then the Rez was just, lit with motorcycle. Every day you just hear, "Rrrr." And it's been kind of cool because, there was a long period of time recently where you didn't hear much of that, but now with everybody on quarantine on the Rez, it's and the gas prices have dropped. I know people are out trying to keep their kids busy.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm seeing all the youngsters up here by the track, and they're all just riding like crazy.
Oh yeah, get out of the house. Go get on your dirt bike. Go to the track.
Let's go down and down below or something. I've been seeing everybody on Instagram posting these sick pics. I'm like, damn, I want to go down there, man. Get the rhinos out and stuff like that.
It's not like it used to be though. Like you said, back in the day when we were younger, there was dirt bikes all over the place. We rode all the time. Everybody had a quad. Everybody had a dirt bike. Yeah. This was before rhinos and razors and stuff like that. So everybody would meet at the track and have a good time.
Yeah, it was good times, man. You know what's weird too is I don't think people think of natives on bikes and quads and stuff. I don't think that's an image that you would see. But it's Rez is all be about riding, man. SoCal anyways.
Yeah, my cousin Jake, he raced professional supercross for the Monster Energy Supercross, and he was pretty damn good at it. He rode on the track, he learned at the track up here.
Yeah.
He didn't have no special trainers at the time or anything like that. I watched him come up. We got our first dirt bikes the same year. I was probably 14. I got my 80, and I think he got a 120, little 4-stroke 125.
Yeah.
And we'd take him over to the track, and little did we know that he'd be racing pro supercross.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't, he just tore it up. He ripped it up. He took what he wanted to do and ran with it.
I remember I knew he was serious about it because I seen him on his like a bicycle, like on a mountain bike or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was riding, and I forgot, maybe I was hiking or something. I just seen him randomly, and I was like, oh, you know, like you like riding, you know, like mountain bikes or whatever. And he was just kind of like, yeah, well, I also kind of like it's for training too for the motocross.
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, this dude's trained to ride motocross. Like
Yeah.
most people who are serious about it just go ride a lot, you know.
Yeah.
But to think like I want to advance my cardio a little bit more,
Yeah.
you could just see the discipline in him. He was down to go.
Yeah,
to the next
no,
level.
he was pushing it to the next level. He wanted to get his endurance up, and he wanted to go to the next level. He actually moved to the East Coast and was living out there for a while. And my Uncle Chuck, his dad, was still living out here taking care of my auntie. And he would go back there, back to the East Coast with Jake and help him out. And he was his mechanic.
Yeah.
He kept going back and forth, and at the same time he held down his job. I forget what he does. I think he's an iron worker or something like that. But when they seen what Jake could do, they put their whole life on hold, my Aunt Sis and my Uncle Chuck, so they could take Jake to the next level in Supercross.
Yeah. And he made it, man. He was
Yeah.
doing it. I remember just like seeing the clips. It was cool, and it was cool too to see people outside the res that like I knew from other places, and they would know him. They'd be like, "Yeah, man, you guys got a good, you know, a good rider out there and stuff." So that's always cool to get some acknowledgement, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. I remember, like, I look back at that time period, and it was like, man, everybody was riding. Seemed like everyone kind of chilled together. There was a lot of like togetherness and stuff like that.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Now it's all everyone's on their phones, and I guess you know the younger crowd. But
I hate that.
it's rough because it's like it's not healthy. Like the riding like when you're out riding bikes and stuff, you know, it's you know, if you're getting broken, that's not healthy, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you're out there, you know, like you know, man, it's hard to be out of shape and do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
you're burning calories.
I forget who I was talking to about it not too long ago, and I was like, you know what? When I was a kid, I went out and I made jumps like out of tires. I stacked up tires on my bicycle before I even had a dirt bike. You know, I'd stack up as many tires as I could, put a plank of board plank, and jump it, land on flat ground, and I didn't care, you know.
Yeah.
That's just what I did for fun. Like, me and all the cousins would do that, see who could jump the most tires. And nowadays, all the kids just want to sit inside on their phones and the tablets, and I'm like, nah. Like, to my kids, I'm like, nah, you get outside. I have my son out there shoveling dirt onto a little jump that he made.
Yeah.
I don't like the new lifestyle of phones and tablets and stuff like that. I especially out here, I want to see them get outside and utilize what we have out here, you know?
I know.
We got a lot of land.
Right now, man, like, you see people on TV, you know, with the quarantine and all that. Like, I feel bad for people locked in, like, apartment complexes with kids. And the parks are closed down. You go down the street and people kind of hating on you a little bit. Like, I just can imagine just staying in a confinement like that. Like, that literally is like jail, you know?
Exactly.
And it's like us, we have we're isolated, you know, which at one point sucks economically because it's like, you know, they didn't have the ability to get jobs and all these kind of things for a long time. Our people being out here on the reservation. But now it's like history's kind of turned it counterclockwise where it's like now we're in a good position because we're isolated away from all that craziness. And if I want to take my kids for a walk up the hill and go hiking, it's just out my back door.
Exactly.
You know, and they're safe and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And then, they have an opportunity to connect with nature and see that, you know, we're just small specks of something greater, you know. The beauty of the sky, the beauty of the land, and you know, riding, getting that physical activity like that. I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's been cool seeing the kids back out there riding and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love to see the kids outside doing their thing outside. It sucks to, like, it doesn't suck like all the technology, but at the same time you get these kids that are like literally stuck on their phones, or they throw a fit if they don't have their phone or their tablet. Like, I built my son I got a mini excavator, and I built him an underground fort
that's cool.
It was actually for me.
Hey.
That's something I wanted my whole life as a kid. But it's like 5 feet deep. It's 10 by 10, and then it has a hallway to another little.
You saw the new Rambo, just admit it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Another little 10 by 10 hole in the ground to another long hallway with another little 8 by 8 room. So it's a little 3-room underground fort.
That's cool.
I told him, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna pay for nothing, because he's like, Dad, how do I cover the top of it? I was like, use your imagination, dude.
Yeah.
I said, go over to Grandpa's. There's wood over there. There's things over there that you can grab from around the house, to cover it up. Use your imagination, boy.
Yeah.
And now, I started working with them, and we got a cover over one of the rooms. We got a little couch in it, and I want to build him a little, what's it called? A little fireplace in it, and a little smokestack so he can keep warm in it if he wants to go into it in the summertime when it's a little chilly outside or whatnot. But it's something I want him to learn adult life at the same time that he's using his imagination, learning how to build, but at the same time being a kid still,
Sure.
So
that's powerful, man, because you never know, that might spark an interest when he's an adult, or when he's that 18, 19, 20-year-old, I think a lot of our kids when they're 18 to 25, a lot of them didn't have opportunities like that, so they sit there and go well, I don't even know what I like, they don't have nothing to draw upon. Whereas I think sometimes if kids have those experiences, they can go, one of the best memories I have was when I was a kid, I was building, home, this sport.
Yeah.
That might make them want to go do engineering, man.
Yeah.
They might want to go build homes or be an architect.
Yeah, exactly.
Or anything like that.
Yeah.
I always think that,
Just spark an interest in something, But
in worst case scenario, he doesn't do that, and he has a sick fort, you can enjoy it.
Exactly. I got a doghouse.
Yeah. When I was a kid, we used to do that where I live right now. This was a field.
Yeah.
Because I live next to my parents. We'd come out here and we would dig by hand with shovels. We dig kind of something like that, not so grandeur, but
mine was never.
We had some board, same thing. Do whatever you can over the top, and then we'd build one on the other side of the ditch. And then the locals up here, the res kids, we were all kind of split off into two armies.
Yeah.
And then we would have dirt clod wars.
Yeah.
And so those were you try to seize the other person's fort. And I ain't gonna lie, it's probably
I totally understand.
But you're breaking these dirts and you're just throwing them at people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember my cousin, we put him down in this area and we covered him so he could pop up. You know what I mean? And so we went and attacked those guys, and then we let him kind of chase us. And then he jumped up in the middle and started throwing them at him.
Oh, nice.
But the problem was we didn't really think it that far through, because now he pops up in front of 10 kids are all throwing dirt clods at him. So
you had the sneak attack, but
he got lumped up, dude. But luckily he was he was the skinniest of us, and he could run, and he got out of there. But we're all throwing big lobs. But it was just fun, I must have been 7 or 8. We were just cracking each other with dirt clods, and nobody wanted to get hurt, because then it meant we're all going to be.
You got to run back to your parents. Somebody's going to run back to their parents.
We're all in trouble at that point.
You tried to shut them up real quick. Shh. I'm sorry.
Throwing rocks at each other.
Yeah.
Starts out dirt clouds, you get a little rock thrown, you're we're throwing rocks now.
You get pissed off because you get hit.
There was one year where the wind came, and it just I remember we had a trailer in the backyard, and it just made it like a tumbleweed, and the trailer was gone.
Yeah.
And all the metal was scrapped around the field. That was the year where down by your family over there, the roof came off the top. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
it was years ago, but it took a whole roof off the house, and people were saying there's people on the res that were drinking that night and stuff. And they said they were up when it came through, and they swore it was a tornado came through this res, which is we're not tornado alley, you know what I mean? It's very rare, but living in this valley, the wind does purr. There is a chance, and I'm telling you, the people then were it was a tornado, we saw it come through.
Yeah.
But the damage looked like it knocked trees over, all stuff.
Yeah.
But after that happened, we were out in the field, taking some of those metals, and we're squaring them up, and we're folding them into strips, and then we were getting rocks and hitting them, And like at the end of the day, we're making swords, dude. And we were out there for like 2 weeks sword fighting with each other. And we were like practicing, we had technique and stuff. And I don't know, man. I remember some people got jacked up on their wings. I mean, it was crazy because it's like you hear about the Spartans, like how the kids used to train.
Yeah.
And it's like all those kids we grew up, and I ain't lying, like half wound up in jail. And I think about that sometimes because it's like they were all scrappers when we got older. Yeah. They were all trying to scrap people.
See,
but that's what we did, like all growing up. That's all we did. We were like fighting each other or throwing rocks at each other.
Oh yeah, always
like,
fighting each other.
It's like what the hell?
Always fighting each other.
But it came in handy. I remember like in, I must have been in 3rd grade, and I got off the bus, and I just got jumped. I didn't even know what was going on. Little kids, like, I was a little kid, but like some 5th graders grabbed me, and they like started to kind of like roughing me up real quick. And I was caught off guard, you know?
Yeah.
And, but I remember someone came in, my godbrother came in like, I just remember I seen him come in from the left, dude, with a big push.
Yeah.
A big pop on the other. Next thing we're there scrapping these dudes out. And, you know, everything was good, but I always think back to that time because it's like my godbrother, you know, he like kind of saved me that day, you know what I mean? Same time as we got older, like that was his thing. He just fought, you know, he's a fighter, and then it turned into this and turned into that. Next thing you know, he got himself in some trouble, but you know, and he was locked up. And I think about that, you know, I'd be like, man, that sucks because it's like that's kind of what we came up in, you know.
Yeah, like
have each other's back, you know, and behavior's not always the best, you know. Like, you don't tell kids like nowadays, you don't tell kids like go scrap them up, go, you know. But I feel like when I was a little kid, I heard that from a lot of the people that I lived around, you know, in this neck of the res, you know. A lot of those kids were told that, you know, you go down there and scrap those kids up, they treat you bad and stuff.
Oh yeah, I was always told, son, you're not gonna be the biggest kid in the school. You're not gonna be the strongest kid in the school, but I promise you that you're gonna get picked on. And my dad told me, you make sure you hit them first and you don't stop.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean, Dad?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
I got picked on, and then I did it. I started fighting, and then the next thing you know, I had to start fighting for my little brother, and then the next little brother.
Yeah, you're fighting for all the cousins. And
yeah. It's something that we just had to do, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, like, around here, like, the white boys or something in Alpine had a thing against Indian boys. I don't know, but like
I think about that sometimes because it seemed like that. It definitely seemed like that. Like that, there was definitely like a. I don't know if it was a rivalry. I don't know if it was generational, but it was like it wasn't like nobody was looking for it, but it was like definitely a coping mechanism to defend yourself. You know, like I fought a lot of times in school, and looking back, like very few of those times did I want to or did I engage. It was like you kind of had to. You know, like at a time people swinging on me. I was like, whoa! I walked in the bathroom one time and someone swung on me like that. And looking back, I was just a little kid, you know, like I didn't need that heat. Exactly. But it was like something that I didn't know I was training for, but apparently, hey, when we're throwing dirt clods, you get hit in the face, it don't hurt. So when someone punches you, you're like, oh, it's not that big a deal. You know what I mean? But it's something like you just, I don't know, it was like you just kind of were put into that fishbowl like that, you know, like I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah, it was very much like taking care of each other, you know, and it was just like an environment, like everyone was kind of like together, like you got on the Indian bus, all the Indians sat in the back, you know, and didn't matter tribal politics or nothing like that. It was just like everyone was kind of together. Yeah. You know who was funny, you know who was crazy, you know who was, you know, whatever. You know, there were some kids that were on the straight up and up, and you know, they didn't get involved in anything. You know, like they were gonna get the Clarence Brown Award or whatever. You know what I mean? So then the other kids would protect them. You know what I mean? We're not gonna let this kid get beat up or get taken advantage of or whatever. Exactly. And so everybody kind of took care of each other. You know, I think that's good memories to have, man.
Oh yeah, like we used to fight with each other too. I remember like back in the day, me and Rob used to fight with, or I used to fight with Gooby. Now Gooby's one of my best friends, you know. Like me and Rob used to fight with Bo and Darren. Like now Bo and Darren are good friends too, you know. Like it comes full circle, you know. It's kind of a trip.
Yeah, it really is. But it's cool because it's like everybody we're all in it together. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's weird because like I know for like my perspective, being on the res, you see a lot of different kind of families and they have different like upbringings or teachings or whatever. But it's like we all live together so long. Like at the end of the day, we're all so damn similar. You know what I mean? We all have a lot of the same ways, and it's like we jive. Otherwise, man, we wouldn't be here for all these years. You know,
Right.
we've all been shooting at each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. When I think of like that fighting and stuff like that, it's crazy because like we're not the only culture that experiences that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at like the Hawaiians, I know that
Yeah.
they like what's his name, BJ Penn, Baby J, he's over there. I know he talked a lot about like when he would grow up, you know, he'd be out in the streets fighting, you know, scrapping, you know, and
Brandon Vera,
same thing, you know, they're just scrapping, and then they were like, oh, we're gonna turn that over into becoming like, you know, MMA and stuff like that, and it's like they were fighting before it was MMA. They're fighting, you know what I mean? It was like they were naturally already trained for that.
That's
it's
what
like
they did.
A lot of res dudes are like that too. I think, you know.
Yeah.
You've done MMA.
Yeah.
You fought. You've been in that.
Yeah.
You didn't start fighting when you were training. You were already fighting before you started training, right?
Well, I grew up. My mom. I played soccer all my life. I played baseball, and then I wanted to get away from baseball and soccer. So my mom's like, "You're not gonna go without doing a sport."
Mm-hmm.
So she signed me up for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
For my cousin Manuel from Verona told my mom about it. So I started doing Jiu-Jitsu. I was already scrapping with Gooby and stuff down here, but
I remember you guys all being young too, man. You guys are a wild class.
Yeah.
You know what, dude? There was like 20 of you all.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like a couple years older than you. There was like 4 or 5 kids in that grade level.
Uh-huh.
My class, there was only a couple kids, but then like when you all came through, it might not be David, like Black Dan, all these dudes. There's like 20 of you.
Oh, Daryl.
Yeah, the Triple H, because all day. It was just like a big class of kids. Like, oh, dude, they must be wrecking those schools, dude. They must be wrecking.
They hated us. They hated us. Oh, you're a T-Sam? Oh, okay.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I came through. I really wasn't much of a fighter at the time. I just used my voice to like intimidate people, you know? Like I really didn't want to fight because I was smaller, I was skinnier, I didn't want to do anything, you know? I didn't want to get hurt. And then somebody started picking on my brother at Alpine Elementary, and I hit him for the first time. I hit the dude, and I really hurt him, and it just clicked in my head. I was like, this is kind of cool, you know? Mm-hmm. I didn't take advantage of it, but then, like I said, my mom signed me up for jiu-jitsu. I was kind of in my mid-teen years, like in between adolescent and teen, and she signed me up for jiu-jitsu, and I started doing that. I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I love Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And after that, I was like, all right, this is really cool. I could take this and run with it. Well, then I got into some trouble as a teen around here, you know. At the time, there was a lot of money going around the res at the time. I was probably like 15, 16 years old, and my parents shipped me away.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of anger then, and I kept like doing my thing. Like I got shipped away to a boarding school. You know, I kept doing my thing at the boarding school, like trying to train as much as I could without getting in trouble for training per se, because they thought I was trying to be a violent kid. Mm-hmm. And like when I was in a boarding school in Montana, I was with Nick, Vonnie, Nicole.
Nicole, yeah.
I
remember she said though that you stood up for a lot of those kids. She told me that a bunch of times. She said that because some of them were younger than you, and like people would try to pick on them, and she said you always like stood up for everybody.
Yeah, I didn't take no shit, you know, because I was the oldest one out of all of them there, and they would make racist comments towards, like, we weren't allowed to talk. The boys and the girls weren't allowed to talk, but being so close to each other, like, I could hear what the people were saying to Nicole and Vonnie and them, and I could hear, because Nick was in what they called a family. Mm-hmm. He was right next door to me. I could hear what they were talking shit to him about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it pissed me off. Like, I'm not gonna let somebody disrespect my people like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I fought adults.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I fought adults in these boarding schools. I got kicked out of a boarding school in Montana because I whooped the shit out of a grown-ass man. I tore both of his ACLs and his shoulder out. They called my mama, my dad. They're like, you got 24 hours to get this kid out of here, or we're sending him to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Because they don't got child abuse laws down there.
Yeah, I knew a guy that went to Jamaica, and he told me that they were like locking kids to the ground. They were like
with
locking
their
them
hands
down
straight out.
Yeah, and they'd like leave them there for days at a time. They'd have to urinate and shit on themselves and everything, and they'd come and hose them, and then like they'd starve them out, maybe give them a little bit of food once again. Just like totally like John Rambo type, you know, like prisoners of war type behavior to break the kid's psyche. Mm-hmm. And then I guess the thought process was that if you break the kid down, then you build them back up. You know, and I remember my niece got back from that. She didn't go to Jamaica, but she was at the school you're talking about. And I remember we were at we had like a welcome me back dinner for her. Yeah. And then she like raised her hand and said, "Can I get some salt?" Yeah. And we were like, "Wait, what? What? Get the goddamn salt! What are you doing?" She goes, "I'm sorry." She goes, "But that's like what we've been doing. Like, you have to ask for
that's just
salt."
how I.
Yeah. You have to. I think you're lazy. I'll get you a drink right there, man. Yeah. You have to ask for salt. You have to ask for all of these things. Yeah. Or else, like,
you get reprimanded.
You get reprimanded. They take points away, and then you don't raise your hand. You don't get no salt. Yeah. You don't raise your hand. You don't get no water with your food. Or whatever there was. I remember she was saying that. I was like, what the hell?
One of the things too, like, it was a point system. You had level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. And when you finish level 5, you graduated and you can go home. Mm-hmm. Well, I was at level 4, and like I was walking, I forget where, like I think we were walking to the chow hall or something. And Nicole looks at me and she goes, "Oh, cousin." Like, she kind of mouthed it to me. And I was like, I kind of looked at her strange, like, "What did you say?" She goes, "Help, cousin." And she goes, "Watch." And she did something, and they snatched her up and took her to this room called the Hobbit. The Hobbit was a boarded up room with expanded metal, 2 wooden bunks. It was worse than jail. Way worse than jail. And I was like, this shit cannot be happening to my family, you know? Like, what is going on? Why did we even get sent here?
Yeah.
Like, are we that bad at children?
Yeah, you were. Hey, no.
Like, honestly, yeah, we did some bad shit, but I don't think we deserve what we went through.
No, I was on education committee at that time. Yeah. I remember parents here were excited about that program. They were like, "Yeah, great results," because they were sold this idea by the people who recruit the students. Yeah. So I remember when you guys came back,
they were fucking sold.
When you guys came back and the word really got out, everyone was like, "Wait, what's going on?" And I remember it was pretty soon that it was kind of a done deal. We weren't saying no kids over there.
What happened?
That was terrible.
What happened was when I was in that school. And it kind of took me back to what my grandmother said she went through when she was taken to boarding schools. Yeah. Like, she kind of explained it to me a little bit, but she wouldn't explain it to me all the way where she was swooped up and just taken to boarding schools and just made to stay there,
Yeah, yeah.
But when we got there, like, it sold the school to... Mm-hmm. Obviously, my parents, Nicole's
there was a whole crop of y'all. Yeah,
like
I remember that.
And when I got kicked out, because when they told my parents, "Oh, you got 24 hours to get your son out of here. We're sending him to Jamaica." When I went to the other boarding school in Utah, I told them everything that fucking happened at that school. Everything. That school is now shut down. It got shut down like 3 months after I left there because of what I told them.
Yeah.
And the school, I was like, you got to get all of my cousins. When I went to the new school in Utah, I was when I got settled in, I was like, you got to get my cousin Nicole, Vonnie, Nick, Richard. You got to get all of them out of that school. That's a fucking bad school. Like,
Well, you know, I was on education at that time, and I think what happened was we had gone like, because I remember that when I graduated high school and I was in college, you know, like before, the year before I graduated, or 2 years before that, like the graduation rate was like almost nobody.
Yeah.
Because, you know, especially when like industry started, we had a casino starting, and
Yeah.
people were just like, well, I don't need to work. And I remember like kids in class being like, dude, I remember a kid told the principal like, I don't need to do anything, I'll make more money than you. And I remember being like, oh damn, he just said that to an adult.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was like, people kind of had that mentality, like, I don't need none of this, there's trust funds, all this kind of
Kids
stuff
still
on the
have
table.
that mentality.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. But you know, what happened was, okay, they said, okay, we're going to put education requirements. You have to get a diploma. You have to do these financial, you know, all these things in order to get any kind of money. And so parents kind of become a little bit more woke, and a lot of the parents have no education themselves.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of people that are educated in our community, but they did want to do something good for their kids.
Yep.
And so they're like, well, now we have resources, so what does it look like to educate our kids? Mm-hmm. And I think we went through like 10 years in this community of like, what does that look like? What does a good education department or program look like? And we made a lot of mistakes, and that's probably the biggest one for sure. But I think that's what that was, because I remember people like happy, like we're going to send the kids, they're going to have all these skills and discipline, and they're going to take over the world. And then little did everybody know we were just sending kids to go get abused.
Yeah.
Like, they can get abused at home, you know what I mean? We got to send them over there for that.
We got sent away to get slaughtered, basically.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I was there. I was at the school in Montana for 8 months until I got kicked out. But once I got kicked out and I told the new school that I went to what was going on at that old school, that school got shut down. There's still lawsuits going down. I'm on Facebook groups that are still having lawsuits about that school.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. Like I don't like you said, that was one of the biggest mistakes probably the education has ever done, because basically the education sent us away to get slaughtered. I don't know if it was Charlotte, whatnot, but they did not know what they were sending us to.
Yeah, we you know, I don't think anybody had, like I said, like it came out of a good intention, you know, like a place of care.
Yeah.
We want to create good, we want to strengthen our youth. And but there's a big lesson there, like, you know, education is a business. You know, like right now, a lot of people are really looking into like, should I get a college education? Is the loans something I should really take on, or what do I want for my kid? You know,
exactly.
Am I training my kid to be an employee instead of an owner? You know, like should I be? What do we do with our kids, man?
Yeah.
How do we train them? All of our traditional stuff's been thrown out the window, kind of like, you know, because they're taking a lot of those ceremonies away in the history. And it's just like, what do you do with your kids? We always say the kids are our future. They're our investment. Well, what does that look like? And I'm telling you, like, even if you have the resources, it's not just a switch you flick and go, okay, now all our kids are going to be college grads. They're all going to be business owners. They're all going to be, you know, they're going to be able to fight for us in the court system for sovereignty law. It's like, that doesn't happen.
No.
Because they're carrying all of that generational trauma, but they're also carrying the knowledge that their parents have. That's what they were taught.
Yeah.
And it's like, if the parents don't have college degrees, or if the parents don't own businesses, or if the parents, you know, have social ills, you know, what are the kids going to carry forward? And it's like, I look back at that, and it's crazy to think that we came so far as a nation to that point, getting away from the boarding school stuff all of our grandparents had to go through, and it's like we sent a whole class of kids to go get that same treatment.
Yeah,
and because we just were sold on an idea, you know.
Yeah,
so we should always be skeptical, man.
I was 14 at the time, and the youngest at the time was Benny, and he was like 6 years old, dude.
Oh wow!
And at the time, he graduated from the boarding school that I got transferred to. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if he was 6. He was probably 6 or 8.
He was a tiny kid, so he might have been 12, but no, I'm kidding. But just kidding. Shout out to Benny. Shout out.
Either or, but
yeah.
He spent a lot of time in that boarding school. The boarding school I graduated from, it was called Lot's Legacy. Mm-hmm. I give them mass props as they helped me out quite a bit.
Yeah.
I graduated as a senior when I got there. I only had freshman credits, and I graduated taking college credits from Brigham Young University. I was Utah All-State second baseman. I had the highest batting average in the state. I had a bunch of scholarships, baseball scholarships.
I'm not gonna get Nick in here too, because I want him to brag about his wrestling. He always throws it out.
He's a lion sack of shit.
He's always like, I was all state in wrestling.
Yeah.
I was like, I know you was wrestling, but you don't have to go that far. You might have been though, I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, it looked like a good program. You guys are like, we're dealing with like horses and stuff out there.
It was just the same shit that I was doing out here. Like, with my family, horses, cows.
That's a whole other thing right there.
That's what I loved. That's what I loved about it.
I think back when you were a young man, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I really liked not having cows all over the goddamn res anymore. That was such a pain.
Having to look out for them when you're all...
Yeah. But it was cool having, like, everybody kind of, like, a lot of people having horses still, you know, and, like, having people ride horses around and, like, having that knowledge. And my sister had a horse when I was growing up. Called Apache. I got thrown off that a couple times, but it wasn't like that. I was a chubby kid too.
Yeah,
I looked like the kid from
get the fuck on me.
I looked like the fat kid in Dancing with the Wolves. You know what I mean? But anyways, but I remember your family was like one of the last ones that were really doing it. You know?
Yeah.
Like even Ship still kind of does it, right? You guys still got some.
I don't know about Ship.
Maybe not Ship, but your family has a little something.
Yeah,
But you grew up doing that, man.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. I'm a cowboy, you know. I love to rope and ride, and like if I could go back.
You're about to sing it that way. You're about to rope and ride. Yeah.
If I could go back to the time when my grandfather was around and the shit that he taught me, like I do construction because he did construction. A lot of the there's 3 houses over there in my corner that were built by my grandfather.
That's so cool.
My grandfather James, and they're still standing. One of them I live in, you know, and the pipe corrals over there on our side, the cows, everything. A lot of it is what he taught me.
Yeah.
You know,
that's so cool.
Not my parents, not anybody else. It was just hanging out with my grandfather.
Yeah.
That's something that I love to do. When he was over building the house that Belinda lives in right now, I was over there right next to him. That's where I found my love of construction.
That's so cool, man. That's like my kids are like, they learned a lot of stuff from their grandpa because I didn't teach them that. Like, my dad would be like, hold the light. Yeah. my dad teaches the kids. He had more patience with them than with me. Yeah. So it seemed like they could learn more from him in a lot of ways. But
that's how my dad is with my kids. If I was holding the light, he'd be screaming at me. If my son holds the light, he'd be like, "Hey son, let me show you."
I don't know what it is about when you're a dad, you're trying to show your kids stuff, and you're just like, "Get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
When you're a grandpa, apparently you're like, "All right, let me show you little, And then you look at your kid like, "Wait a minute, that's not what I remember." That's not how I remember. That's so funny.
He didn't have that patience with me.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that connection's huge, man. That's important. But I remember your family always being in the cattle and doing all that kind of stuff back in the day. And
yeah, we still do it.
That's how you know all those country songs, huh? And you remember back in the day when, my old boozing days. Here's a little story for everybody out there. But we went out to the river, Lake Martinez, and we were riding jet skis. And I went out with my sister Snow. She had all her stuff. There was a bunch of us out there. Remember we went out? I don't know there was a place that like a bar or something, but they had karaoke. You remember that?
I forget what the name of the bar was.
I don't know. But I do remember.
We shut down the whole bar.
Oh, man, we were rocking. No one believed it. You know, we went in, and that's when I was kind of a little fit too, and you were all in good shape. But I remember
singing "Friends in Low Places."
Yeah,
we had that whole bar jumping.
I remember when we went out there too. I was like, "Let me get a shot," you know. And it was like back then I was drinking Jaeger.
Yeah.
Jaeger was my thing, you know what I mean? And Anyways, the Jaeger shots were, I don't know if you remember, they were like so freaking small.
They're
like
the little plastic
things.
shot glasses.
Yeah, they're like what tattoo artists put there and painted.
Yeah.
We're like, well, how much is a shot? I remember they were real cheap. So it was kind of like, let me get like, and how much can we give for $20?
Yeah.
Dude? And I remember they just gave us a bunch, dude. We were just like fucking drinking them. And I remember my wife's like, oh no, I ain't babysitting this guy. So they had karaoke. And then we're like, we'll sign up some songs, you know? And I remember I signed up like, you know, up to like, I'm already buzzed.
You threw in quite a bit of money in that jukebox.
I was like,
whatever the fuck was it a DJ or
I don't even remember. I think it was both. Like, I think at the end of the night it became a jukebox. But I remember playing like Johnny Cash and stuff. And I remember like thinking like, I only know like half of these songs, dude.
Oh, he still put on a show.
But yeah, I was rocking it. And then I remember you came and you had my back because I didn't have this whole song, but you knew all those songs.
Yeah.
So we did like Friends in Little Places.
Oh,
we did what was it? I'm trying to think like Rolling Stones. We did Honky Tonk Man or Woman. Honky Tonk Woman. That's the song.
I don't even remember. That was so long ago.
I don't know, man. We're probably playing Boot Scoot and Boogie.
Yeah.
I don't know. We were doing all kinds of that.
Brooks and
prime country.
George Strait. Yeah, prime country.
It was so funny though because like that place was dead, and I remember we started doing that, and it was like we had that place popping. People don't believe it when I tell the story, but it's like there was like 50 people and they're just dancing to us. They were like cheering us on and stuff. All hot women.
And then all of a sudden, everybody's dancing, having a good time. Like,
we legit look like we're hired entertainment. We were dancing. Yeah, we were doing the whole thing, man. That's crazy.
Hell yeah!
That's my one karaoke story. Because I've tried to do karaoke after that, and it's like, I only know like a half of the song.
Yeah.
When you're buzzed, you try to read, you're like, I can't read none of this.
Even when I'm sober, I can't.
Like,
even when I'm sober, I can't read and put it together. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I can know a song, but at the same time, when it pops on, I'm like, I kind of get jumbled.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know when my eyes start getting glossy, and I'm there trying to read the lyrics, start making up my own lyrics and stuff. All off beat.
Start making sounds to sound like the lyrics.
Doing Rapper's Delight. I hit pop, but I don't stop. I better get out of here. But yeah, it's like, that was a good night, man. That was fun times.
Hell yeah.
Did you ever look back at those old party days when you were really going for it back in the days and miss that? And
no, I don't miss it. I learned from it.
Yeah.
It's something that I look at and I can have stories from, and I learn big lessons from.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the man I am if I honestly didn't have those days.
Yeah.
Because I've learned like what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say. I met a lot of people. I met it's something that I wish everybody could experience, you know, like meeting all the people you do while you're partying and all that, but it's not what it's all cracked up to be, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, like what they say, you don't you learn on your losses, you don't learn on your wins.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that lifestyle, that's why I don't do it anymore. I try not to. No. Yeah. It's been 5 years for me that I haven't had anything like that. My wife and I, we for New Year's resolution, we're like, we're gonna give up soda, we're gonna give up drinking, we're gonna give up like fast food and all stuff.
Jesus.
So it's been 5 years. I haven't drinking any soda or any alcohol or anything like that, and just and I was kind of already easing out of it anyways. Yeah. But yeah, fast food I couldn't hang. I went back to after about a couple months, but it was like, I haven't got any soda, nothing like that, and it's just like, but it's good because it's like, I did go through that period of my life, and it's like, I don't encourage anybody to have to go through that, but if you are in that period of your life, you can't step away from it, and it's not all like bad, you know, like you can look back and be like, man, you know, I learned this and that. I learned a lot in those days, you know, I learned a lot of humility, because when I wasn't drinking, I didn't have my first drink till I was 25, so I look it back, I was like, I think I had a little bit of an arrogance at 25, where I was like, oh, these guys are drunks, you know. It's like I didn't have that empathy to think about why they do it, or, you know, understanding of what that lifestyle is like or anything. So after I got into that a little bit, I could see kind of like why some of our people live in that for years and years, and they're so comfortable in it. I get it, you know, and I don't have any...
it's easy to fall into.
Yeah, you know, I don't have bad feelings towards people like that or nothing. I don't have a bad heart on that. Because, you know, my mom used to tell me, she would say, you know, a lot of times, like, those are the most humble people in our whole community, are those people that are, you know, like the outward, like the really bad alcoholic drunks, you know? And it's like, we don't want to admit it, but she would say, like, she goes, you know, when you go to these funerals, she goes, look around, who's digging? You know, back in them days, in the 80s, it was like, all the guys who were digging, a lot of them were hardcore drinkers, and it's like they didn't have a lot to give the community, but they gave what they had. You know, if it was just labor, then they'd show up and dig. If it was like someone needed help in their yard, they'd go over and help out and throw them a couple of beers, and they'd be really thankful. If not, that was cool too.
Exactly.
You know, and it's just kind of like a real giving in a real peaceful like kind of way. You know, but it's easy to down those people, but there are people too. You know.
Yeah, it's crazy too because it like what you said, it not passes on from every res, but it seems like you got in every res those same kind of people, like
the archetype.
Exactly. Like you can look at somebody and be like, that looks like so and so from my res.
Like just like I know you. You don't know, but I know you. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's so many. Like I don't know if anybody's written a book on that yet. If so, I would love to read it.
There should be.
There should be, man. Maybe we need to sit down and write one. But I tell you, like every res has. You have like, and every family has like the very overly cultured person. You know what I mean? It's holding the language. Hey, it's all me. Guilty. But like, and then every family's got like that one dude that's like really good with everybody. Chill. Let's go play some horseshoes, softball, whatever it is like that. I remember the beats like that. That's
overly educated.
Yeah.
Looks down on everybody.
Okay, now I'm feeling attacked. No, but you do. You have like those archetypes, you know. You have like the protester, you know. You have the guy that's kind of probably made for council, you know. Every meeting, and they want you to.
That's like fuck all you.
You have the violent resonator guys, show up ready to fight.
Yeah.
The guy you don't take downtown because it's like, oh, don't bring that guy.
No.
Go downtown and it's like, oh, I guess we're getting in fights tonight.
Some of these guys. They always said that about me and Goo. Josh and Berto would be like, nah, don't. We're all
chilling. Next thing you know, like you see the whole crew rolling. Like, oh, look at the watch. It's like midnight. By 2 o'clock, it's cutoff time.
Scrapping through Stingery or all bad.
So how much did like the fight game, you know, the MMA and all of that? How much, like in that period, you were first off, you dropped a lot of weight. I remember you were like, you've always been pretty lean and in good shape, but like you had a little bit of the belly from booze.
Yeah, I was like,
and I remember you had a solid 6-pack. You're looking pretty damn good, man. You were hitting it up, working out all the time.
I was like 180 at the time.
Okay.
And Kevin hit me up. He's like, hey, cuz, he's like, come train with me. I wanna train. He's like, I just started training at the dungeon, and they train to fight too. I was like, all right, I'll go check it out with you. Like, I didn't think nothing of it. That day, I just threw on basketball shorts, a tank top. I was like, all right, let's go check it out. So I went there and did my thing, and the next day I was fucking sore. Sore. I hadn't done shit like that in years, and I was sore. I think I was like 23 at the time. So Biggie hits me up the next morning. He's like, you ready to go, cuz? I was like, what the fuck you mean you ready to go? This is everyday shit? He's like, yeah. He's like, we gotta go again today. I was like, alright. And he's you're motivating me to lose weight, cuz you're motivating. That's when he was big.
That's when he was Biggie.
Yeah. That's when he was Biggie.
Yeah.
And so I kept going with them, and then I met Chris Brown. Chris Brown jumped in to the dungeon, and so then I started fighting with Chris Brown and Marky Curro, and then we had a little fight team right there out the dungeon, and then I didn't even think about fighting. I just wanted to be the little best exerciser, you know. I didn't want nobody to fucking jump higher, run faster than me at all. And at that time, I felt like I was an old man, 23 years old. I thought, oh, I'm an old man, so I gotta prove something to everybody. But then I started getting these dudes that could fight with me. I was like, all right. And then Jerry introduced me to Yit.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you want to fight at Kempo? I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah, those are fun. The fights at the Golden Acorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, so I did a fight up there, and I lost that one. I gassed out. I kept training. I was pissed off that I fucking lost. I was pissed.
I remember watching that. I could see you gassed too. 'Cause you're winning. You're looking good, and then
so gassed.
That's one thing people who don't do that do not understand the cardio.
No,
like
it was an adrenaline dump.
Dude could look so solid or whatever, but it's like, you know, the cardio is crazy, and then on top of that, the adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
You get so psyched up to go in there about 30 seconds, minute in, and you're just like, it just hits you. And it's like carrying wet blankets on you.
Yeah, because most street fights are a couple seconds long, you know?
Yeah.
And after it went over 30 seconds, I was like, fuck, what the fuck is this, you know?
Yeah.
And then I had that adrenaline dump, like everything just fucking crashed on me. I was like, what the hell? So I got put in a triangle, had to tap.
You're like,
I went back to the drawing board, and then my buddy Crunch hit me up. He's like, hey, Ant, you ready to fight at the LA Sports Arena? I'm like, this one need to fight at the LA Sports Arena? He's like, yeah, I got a videographer that wants to come down and film you.
Yeah.
And he filmed The Simpsons, and do you want to fight? It's for felony fights.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
The dude
Cops vs. Cons.
Cage vs. Cons.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And I was like, who am I gonna be fighting? He's like, you're gonna be fighting a Marine. I was like, all right. So I was like, all right, whatever. At the time, I was on the skinny side because I was working out. I was all lean and cut. I think I had like 3% body fat, whatnot. I think I was walking around at like 170 pounds.
Yeah.
So I signed the contract to fight at the LA Sports Arena. I didn't know what was going to go down. I heard E42 Shore, Psycho Realm, Be Real were going to be there, a tattoo convention. I was like, all right. So I expected something like when it actually came time to it, that it was going to be like a Golden Acorn fight. Like, they were just going to knock us in another little convention center. Like, it wasn't going to be as big as it was. Well, I took Josh with me, my brother Rob with me, and we got up there, and then I went to weigh in, and Debo was there behind me.
Yeah, I remember seeing that picture. I'm all, what the hell, is that Debo?
Debo's over there staring at my rod, and I was like, Jesus Christ, guy.
Debo from Friday, for those who don't know who Debo is.
Debo from Friday.
Yeah, I forget his real name, but he's just known as Debo now.
Oh, I'll remember it.
I remember his old wrestling name. What was it? He was on that... I'm going to have to look that up. Him and Hulk Hogan made a movie, No Holds Bars, back in the day.
I know exactly.
I forget his name, but I usually remember that. But yeah, Debo from Friday.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool though, that he was the guy doing all the weigh-ins and everything. That was cool.
And then we go the next day, because it was just at a little ghetto hotel where we did the weigh-ins, so I still didn't believe what was going on. And then all of a sudden, the next day comes in, they give us routes to the LA Sports Arena, and we get there. I meet up with my mom, or actually I was with Goob, Rob, and Josh at the time, and then I met up with my mom. There's LAPD gang unit helicopter flying around. There's LAPD gang unit vehicle. There's already people fighting in the parking lot before we even got in.
That's what's so good about the MMA scene on the West Coast.
Yeah.
You have those small shows and you see craziness, but even when you take it to become a big show, there's still like they're all hyped up on the scrap.
Crazy. It was so crazy. And then I get inside and they wouldn't let me out of the locker room. Everybody else was allowed to go out. So they're telling me what's going on outside. There's 16,000 people, and I'm just like, when they came back in, Goob and Rob came back in because Josh was doing pad work with me and stuff. Goob and Rob came back in. They're like, there's a lot of fucking people out there, dude.
I remember seeing that, man.
There's a lot of people. And so it comes my turn. I was the first fight of the night, and they had a concert. It was E40, Too Short, Psycho Realm, Be Real, Daz, Corrupt. And this was right after Nate Dogg died, so they had a big old thing for Nate Dogg. And so all the lights went dim. It was like 10 o'clock at this time, so everybody was drunk in the crowd. There were people fighting in the crowd. And it was dark in the arena, and they hit the lights, and then my music started playing. I was like, all right, it's go time. Let's get this shit. Walked out to the thing, did my shit. Got my win, walked the fuck back out, and then the fights didn't end till like, I think it was like 2:45 in the morning.
Yeah. That was definitely like, they put that together to be like entertaining, and they were getting that, that crowd that like, they're out to party. And
Exactly. Yeah. That's all it was.
Yeah, that was a cool thing though. The imagery was cool, all the pictures and stuff.
Like I have that, if you want me to show it to you, I will. The video that they made before that they played on the what's that thing called, the Megatron or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Before I walked out.
Oh, you still have that?
Yeah.
Kumeyaay Indian, and I'm a professional MMA fighter. I've been an MMA fighter for 1 year, trained about 7 years jiu-jitsu when I was younger, and been fighting my whole life. Right now I'm currently just training hard, and I go into mental preparation. Before I go into a fight, I usually try to get blessed by a medicine woman, medicine man, just to take all the bad thoughts out of my mind, take all the bad energy out of me, so I go into the fight level-headed. I'm just clear-minded, basically. I want to be in the cage with some of the top contenders in the 155 class. Whatever it takes, I'll do it to get there. I ain't scared of nobody. I'll jump in there and I'll fight all day long.
So with all of your fighting and everything like that, man, all this stuff, did you have sponsorships and all that kind of stuff for all that, or what? Trying to think back.
I had a few, like I had Smoke Signals.
Shout out Josh Craddock.
Yeah, hey. Shout out Josh Craddock. I had Keg and Bottle, Spring Valley. I went to Verona. I went to Sequan. I went to Viejas, and they kind of just looked at me like I was nothing. It was kind of an insult, you know.
That hurt?
Oh yeah, it hurt bad. Like they just looked at me like I was nothing, you know. I go down, I dig grave for Sequan, I dig grave for Verona, I dig grave for Viejas, and I'm not saying that's the only thing that should get me enrolled, but like when people need me to act like an Indian, then they call me, you know, when they need me to dig grave, when they need me to sing, when they need me to do this and that, they call me. But when I go to them to help me out with paying my expenses to go fight, where they can show their name to 16,000 people at the LA Sports Arena, then all of a sudden they don't know me?
Yeah. I remember back in those times, and look at me here again, I was on the committee,
Yeah.
But I remember I did do, like, here at Viejas, I was on the contributions committee for a few years, and I remember we would get, like, a binder of all these contributions, people want us to contribute.
Yeah.
And it was always rough because, like, it's like if you didn't have a tax ID number, then like maybe we you know, that would be a parameter where we'd say like, we're not going to respond
Yeah.
to you or whatever. You get all of these sponsorships in, and I used to always think like, you know, like our own native people should have kind of preferential treatment.
Yeah.
And at times I knew that we did that, and there was times where I kind of felt like maybe we didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because I have heard from other people who have looked for sponsorships, especially in that time period where I think people didn't understand, like, we need to really be investing in our own people who are trying to go out and do something.
Yeah.
It could be sitting on the res doing nothing.
Exactly.
But if they're out there trying to promote, trying to put, you know, and I think people at that time too, MMA was kind of like, oh, there's out there fighting, it's violent. It's, you know, people still had that old 1993.
It's kind of frowned upon.
Now it's a sport, it's legitimized, it's on ESPN, you know, and so people know it's a promotional thing. I know, like Viejas, people didn't want MMA or fighting here for a minute, and there was all kinds of kind of smaller promoters, native promoters that were like, hey, let's have some fights. It's good to bring people in. It's a good crowd. It's a young crowd that wants to, you know, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
But there's people that are like, no, we don't want to do that. And then with fighters coming in, you know, now it's different because I see some of the res fighters. You know, there's a couple in Paula. You know, shout out to you know, the Campo has a couple. But you see on their banners, you see some of the like.
Yeah.
You see some of the native brands that we have locally. You see like Res Jitsu. You know, you see like the tribes are now sponsoring it. But I know when you're fighting, I wasn't like that. I didn't see that.
No. And now I look at it like even now, I'm not gonna name no names, but Vieja sponsors somebody that they excluded from their tribe.
Yeah.
Like
It is weird now that you say that. Yeah, they don't jive. They don't make no sense.
that makes no sense.
So here's the other question I would have, you know, and not to get too personal, or, you know, if you don't want to share, I understand, but, you know, I feel like maybe, like, does tribal enrollment have an issue with that? Now, I've known you, we've talked tonight a lot about, you know, growing up on this reservation. You grew up on this reservation. You rode bikes with everybody. You went to school with everybody. You defended people at times. You know, you've just been a member of this community your whole life. As I've grown up just seeing you, you know, you'd be over at my sister's house, my nephews and things like that, your brother. You know, I know your family. You know, our family's known each other since before we were ever here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your great grandma or your grandma, whatever, did my mom's hair when she got married and stuff. You know, she did my mom's hair when she got married. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So, you know, back in those days, you used the res economy. So if you knew someone that took pictures, you had them take pictures. If you someone did hair, you had them do your hair. If you knew someone made cakes, you had them make cakes. Which is, by the way, we got to talk more about that in a minute because we really got to get back to that as opposed to this idea of everybody on the outside. We should be listening and entertaining them more than our own people.
Yeah.
Which I think it isn't in line with what we're talking about.
Yeah, and see, that's a trip. We don't even accept our own people anymore.
Uh-huh.
We would rather hire out and figure something out where we hire a white man or a Middle Eastern person to do something for us or to sponsor us, like for fighting or something like that. Like, why not take care of our own people, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, just because I'm not an enrolled member in this tribe doesn't mean you guys can't help me out, or just because I'm not an enrolled member in another tribe doesn't mean you guys can't help me out. Like, I'm not asking for a handout. I'm asking to promote what we can do a part of our community. You know, I'm not saying, like, fighting wise, I'm not saying that promoting me as a fighter means I'm going to bring violence to the reservation. You know, maybe these kids on our reservations need to learn discipline. What I learned, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
You know, boxing. And it's not all violent what everybody thinks it is. You know, I don't know what everybody thinks, like, if they can't help somebody out that is part of their community but isn't, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, you know, like right now, for instance, it would be a good opportunity. You know, like you're talking about fighting, but like now you're doing a lot of construction. You're up and coming with your construction.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking to put together a company. You know, a lot of these kind of things. You know, you got to get a contractor's license. You got to, you know, a lot of these things take seed money. A lot of them do take community support or a support basis.
Yeah.
They take a capital to start up, and it's like, as a community, we should back you. And when you're in a position to say, hey, does anybody need some work done? We should be hiring you. If or people like you who are from the community. If people have a new construction company and we're going to do a housing project here on the res, or we're going to build something, even if it's a shed in the back, or if it's, you know, whatever it is, an awning or you know, we should be hiring our own people to come do that.
Exactly.
And taking that chance on our own people to build our own industries, build our own, and really invest in our own people.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. I think a lot of times we don't do that enough. If we do it, we don't do it enough.
No.
Because too often, you know, you'll see people start up companies like that and then they die out. But then we're real quick to kind of keep afloat these non-native or people from our communities and give them all this money and trust them. And a lot of times you get screwed over.
You know what I think it is?
They have no buy into us.
I think it's because some of these people look at us and they see me like I'm young, you know, they seen the mistakes I made as a child, and they think, oh, you know what, maybe he's gonna make these mistakes as a contractor. Mm-hmm. You know what, I'm not. I haven't turned around my life, and I haven't made these switches in my life and tried to be a contractor to just fuck my whole life up, you know?
Right.
I want to do things to better my tribe. I want to do things to better my people. Yeah. You know? And I don't even feel like I'm a part of a tribe, you know? I'm supposed to be from Verona, but I claim Viejas right now to the day I die.
Yeah, well, you were raised here, man.
Yeah.
You were, and you like with all the, like we've been talking about, you know, all those experiences and living here. And, you know, one thing you touched on, and for those listening that don't know our culture, you know, when we pass on, one of the ceremonies that we really still have that's strong amongst us natives in our region, of course, is our funeral ceremonies. And we went, at one point, we're cremating here in Kumeyaay country, but now we bury, and there's a lot of history as to why we went to that. But there's a lot of nuance and a lot of history, and there's a lot of tradition in the practice that we have of burying our people. It's not just we dig a hole and put somebody in there. There's a lot of tradition in there, and it's been passed down shovel to shovel, and there's an oral tradition attached to that. And you can't learn it unless you're there doing it. You have to get up and go have that morning breakfast and show up there when the sun's not up and dig, and you earn that through your hard work. And the older guys that have been out there, they did it when they were young, and they were there doing it when the ones who were passed on, you know, they were the leads and they were young guys, and it's been passed down now. Yeah. And you were out there as a young guy, 10, 11 years old, younger, shoveling, you know, doing the things that young kids do, and then as you got older, you know,
my dad told me, get in there, throw these shovels of dirt out, you know, grab that jackhammer. He was right behind me holding the jackhammer because it weighed more than me, but I was still in there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't necessarily feel bad about it because I don't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these people look at me like I'm not part of them. Like, you know, that kind of hurts.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I could go put in my blood, sweat, and tears for somebody else's family that is crying. And I'm not saying that digging grave is the only thing that should make me native, but I put in a lot more work than that people should recognize.
Yeah, at least as a human, that you're part of the people, right?
Yeah, that I'm a part of them, you know? Like, I don't know what it would take. When I get an enrollment number, then are people gonna start treating me different?
Yeah, I always hear people describe like tribal enrollment, and they talk about it being like a morality thing. I heard that one time, and I thought like, well, how's that a morality thing? I didn't understand that. But like thinking about what you're talking about, it makes it real clear. Like we could have somebody in our community, could be born and raised in that community, hang out with all the other kids, be just like all the kids, all treated the same, fed off the same tables, go to school with all the kids, become an adult with all the kids, make the mistakes with everybody, and then when they turn 18, oh well, you're not part of these people anymore. And then, okay, so you're going to treat them differently.
Exactly.
There's a morality there. And then like you're talking about, you're raised in a tradition, which, we have a lot of traditions, a lot of culture amongst our people. Not everyone's a singer, not everyone's a cook, not everyone's a digger, not everyone's whatever, but we all have parts and pieces that our families have held on to and given to us as we grow up.
The way that we make up our community.
And we learn, that's our community.
Yeah.
And so you're part of that fabric from a very traditional way of being passed down, and then to be told like, well, thank you for your work, thank you for coming and busting out.
But you ain't shit to me.
But yeah, you're not really one of us.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's really hard. I can see why people would say that's a morality issue.
Yeah, and it's not like I shouldn't be there. My little brother, he has the same blood as me, but our dad was married to his mom. Our dad was not married to my mom. So that makes him better than me?
Yeah, I don't know, man. No, it don't. I would say no, it don't. I've known you're I'm a little older, so I've known you your whole life, and you're a member of this tribe, and I can't think of how many times that I've seen you there busting out for our people, in many ways. And digging's one way. It's not the only way.
No,
I mean, when we did cultural programs for educating the youth,
Mm-hmm.
you were always there helping to cut the willow and just always helping around. But you're not alone in that either. I always hear this story in Indian country around where it's like I was raised in a community. And reality is when you get to all of this, you get people who, the reality is that it was designed in the 1800s, right? In the late 1800s. Mm-hmm. And this was real empowering for me when I learned this, because I was raised up old school. Like, if you want to have your kids enrolled, then you better go hook up with someone, from that's Indian, or you better hook up with someone who's got papers.
Yeah.
Or in our res, it was like, you better hook up with someone from Viejas or
Just like a dog.
Just like a dog. And otherwise, your kids ain't going to be enrolled.
Yep.
And so my parents are both native. Their parents are native. So I ended up, I guess you're kind of conditioned to think that way. So I hooked up with a woman from San Isabel, and we have our kids and all that kind of stuff. I've told my kids that if you want to be with a native, you want your kids to be native, then you need to go hook up with native people. And it's like, you hear these things and you kind of keep it going without even thinking.
Exactly.
But I remember being at a point when I was learning about history of the mid 1800s, when this was all created in America. Mm-hmm. And what was empowering to me was to know that this didn't just happen in America, these practices. They happened in, like the Polynesian Islands, they happened in Australia, they happened in, to the Maori over in New Zealand. They have a whole stolen generation in Australia, happened in Canada, it happened all over places where people were colonized. And it was a science. It was like a real faulty racial science where they truly believed that, okay, you take these dark people, and they're on the side of a spectrum. The spectrum is that they are primitive, quote unquote primitive, meaning they're like a primate, like an animal. Yeah. And then on the other side of the spectrum is you have these civilized people who are human, and they're light skinned, they're white, they're represented as a European, and so the spectrum is there. So,
and they are normal.
And they're normal, and so. How long does it take for a person to go from primate to normal? Mm-hmm. And, in that time period, they thought, well, it takes 4 generations for that to happen. So you take a person, they hook up with you take an Aboriginal or an indigenous person, you hook them up with a European, their kids are now half-breeds. Yeah. And so now at that point, we start looking at ourselves like we're dogs or some kind of thoroughbred horses or whatever. I like to think of horse when I think of myself as a dog. The black stallion, right? Yeah. But you're a half-breed, which is like half. How are you half of a person? That makes no sense. Yeah. And so, okay, their kids become the quarter, right? So that's the 3rd generation. And then the 4th generation, and that 4th generation, by the way, you have all these racial terms that come out of the time period. Like a quadroon is what they would call a lot of African Americans, later on, it meant that your forefather was a slave. You were a quadroon. And so, but the bottom line is they said, okay, every generation they're going to be culturally assimilated a little bit more. They'll forget their language, their old religion, or their belief patterns, and they'll become here it was Americanized, but over their side of the world it was like Europeanized. So bottom line is they're being colonized, right?
Yeah.
And then that fourth generation, if you look at them, you're not going to see trace of any indigenousness. So they're going to look like a European.
Yeah.
And you see that amongst our people. You go to any tribe, especially ones that have had a long history of mingling in with non-natives, intermarriage. Mm-hmm. You see that a lot of the kids don't have the dark skin. They don't have the dark hair. You'll see blonde hair, blue eye, light skinned people. And so genetically, they have been kind of bred out. Yeah. The indigenousness has been bred out. There are goods to that. You have positives where, maybe they're not now as inclined to get diabetes as a full-blooded, native. Yeah. But, at the end of the day, though, the psychology of it is you're telling somebody you're 1/4 this, you're 1/8 that, you're 1/2. You're not a whole person. It's so
ridiculous.
If you go 4 generations down, they realize that you would not have the quote-unquote blood enough to be part of that membership, and you would not have the culture connected either. And so the culture was taken to the boarding school, but then the genetic part, that was taken through intermarriage. And they knew that in the late 1800s. Are we going to fight a war and decimate all these people and steal their land? We don't need to do that. If we just put them on these reservations, put them in really hard predicaments, over time they will, if we re-educate them, they will start to just slowly drift as a people, and they won't be here. Yeah. And so when I learned that, and when I learned all of that stuff, the Dawes, the Dawes Act and how that was made to re-engineer our society, to go get away from our traditional way of living. When I learned about General Pratt and Carlisle Indian School, where it was like, save the man, kill the savage and all that kind of stuff. When I learned all that stuff, for me, it was like an eye-opener, like, whoa, man, we are right now on course to just not be here in 2 generations or 3 generations. Yeah. It's a miracle that we're still here. People don't realize that. And so you look at everyone's family, and some people walk around, and I have kind of the look, I admit, I have the long hair, I'm dark, and all of that, but in my family, I have family who is no less native than me, but they're blonde and blue-eyed, and all that, you know? And I have nephews and nieces like that, and it's like, they are of my family, they're of me, they're no different than I, we are the same. And who determines what they are and what they are? Isn't that supposed to be the creator? Yeah. No, we use these documents to decide that, and it's terrible, man, because what people don't realize is everyone's going to be in that same boat. If they're not there now, 2 generations from now, everyone's grandkids are going to be in that boat. Yeah. Unless you start hooking up with your cousins, but that's not happening.
Not even 2 generations.
It's happening now.
Oh yeah. It's ridiculous. You could see it around. I see it around every res I go to.
It's rough, dude. And it's a slippery slope too, because you go well, if everyone's native, then nobody's native. You have to have a membership. And so I get the idea of because a lot of times too, the people who are complaining the most about it are the ones that don't have the blood. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to look at every single tribe differently because it is part of the sovereignty. Part of the sovereignty, you should be able to choose your own leaders, make your own decisions, choose your own membership.
Yeah, but one of these days that sovereignty is going to be gone because there's not going to be an Indian race.
Yeah, there's not going to be nobody to carry the sovereignty. Nope. It's gone. And all that land and all that greed connected to everything, it's not going to matter in the end when nobody can hold it, right? Yep. Nobody can have that. The thing about you, though, is your situation's a lot different, Yeah. It's usually you have a loophole to get you into things. You have a reverse loophole that kind of screwed you out of that. Yeah, and that your tribe is saying that you got to be married in order to have the children.
Yeah, you know what the fucked up part is though? They say, oh, we don't accept DNA, but they accept DNA when it comes to child support.
Yeah.
DNA can kill somebody on death row.
Yeah.
If somebody killed somebody and their DNA was on a knife, in a federal court, county court, state court, that dude would swing.
Yeah.
So what what doesn't DNA do, you know? What are they so scared of?
Yeah.
There's obviously something that they're scared of. There's only 3 or 4 of us besides me and my brother.
They're in the same predicament.
Yeah, so there's only 1 or 2 of us. And last time they went to the meeting to switch the enrollment ordinances, what they call customs and traditions, they started a big old fucking fight because one person had a baby with someone that they're not married with now. Like, I don't know. It's fucking greed, dude.
Yeah, it's a mess all over too, though. You know, like a lot of this stuff is easier to personalize, but I think you see it all over though, where you have like it gets written down, and you go, "What's the intent of this rule? Why was this rule created?"
Yeah,
it's screwing a couple of our people over, and we know that they have the genetics. We know that they've grown up, or they're part of this fabric of the community and all that. But and then like you go like, well, what's the purpose of that? Because when you go to res, this is something too that was really enlightening for me. Is that you go to one tribe or you go to one res, and they have a whole different policy as to what their membership is.
Yeah.
So like for instance, my wife's tribe, they claim all Indian blood.
Yeah.
So if you have a direct descendant from that tribe, that reservation, then you're able to be enrolled, provided you have enough overall Indian blood.
Yeah.
So if you're half Navajo or half Hopi or something like that, or Blackfoot or whatever, and you have that blood, then you can be enrolled, even though it's not of that same tribe. You know? But you're in that genetics, you can be enrolled there. They count all Indian blood, which is kind of cool because then, like they're going to be around a long time because as long as
that's how it should be.
It probably should be something like that.
Yeah.
I know there's some nations out there that they say, okay, once if I'm a parent, I'm enrolled, so my kids can be enrolled. Once they're enrolled, they're kind of counted as it's kind of like full blood.
Yeah.
You know, like there is no blood quantum. It's just you're the child of that person. It's direct, and you're in.
Yeah.
You know, it's not everybody, but just that line going down.
Yeah.
That seems kind of cool too, because again, it shows continuation.
Yeah.
But like my res here, our res, you know, it's like it's pretty nitpicky. Like I want to say we have one of the more nitpicky.
I heard there's a
tribal enrollment
moratorium,
period.
Like on the enrollment and Viejas.
You know, I don't know. I gotta look into it. I hope not, because I gotta go do them. I've been slacking on paperwork on my kids, but I do know like another part of this problem is that like enrollment's one of those things. They know this like on a date. Don't talk about religion. Don't talk about money or whatever. But like enrollment for natives
don't
is
talk about fucking money.
Yeah.
Do not talk about fucking
that's when
money.
It gets corrupted. That's when
that's
it gets
where
ugly.
Everything goes out the fucking window, and that's where when they had that meeting for me and my brother to get enrolled, they thought they were gonna lose their fucking per cap everywhere. That's what they fucking thought. They thought there was fucking hundreds of people that would get enrolled if they passed that law.
Mm-hmm. And I think that comes from fear because, another common theme is like you'll see, and I've seen this from a number of reses, it happened here a little bit, but where people don't want to be enrolled or don't want to claim it or they're not from the community, they just have a connection. But the moment a business opens up, then everybody, I want to go get my free something. And so people are real apprehensive to be like, whoa, hold on. We don't want nobody enrolled. We want to try to be as strict as possible. Because we don't want everybody to come in and take from what we as a community develop. And you know that, but it's funky when you get a situation like myself. I'm in a situation where it's like, I look at my mom and, my grandma was a full-blooded Kumeyaay from this, community, but she married my grandfather from the Apache lands. He's, shout out CBQ Apache. My mom federally is recognized as a full-blooded Native American or whatever, American Indian. But she comes from 2 different tribes. So in our tribal enrollment here, she's looked at as one half, which is funky because if you go like, well, what's the other half? And I had this conversation with my mom. She goes, well, I'm a half. I said, Mom, how are you a half? Like when the other half of you is Native too. So how are you not 100% Native? And she was like, well, I guess you could say that. And I said, no, that's what you are. You're 100% Native. And just because it's 2 different tribes doesn't mean that you're not 100% indigenous to this land here. Give or take a couple hundred miles. But it's an old mentality of that enrollment, colonial like way of thinking, all that stuff's like it's in all of our elders. It's in all like my generation. You know, we all kind of have that because 50 years ago, people weren't like not being enrolled.
Yeah.
Everyone could pretty much get in.
Yeah.
But now we're having to experience it. So that's what I was saying. It's like one of those things people don't want to talk about, but dude, we got to talk about it or else we're not going to have a membership in 20 years. 40 years.
Like, you look at these little kids that are being enrolled, like, not only in Verona, but all the way around.
It's all over, man.
There's not going to be a tribe in 2 decades.
It's scary, yeah. It's scary to think about.
The presidents are gonna fucking be like, you're not even fucking Indian no more, dude.
That's, you know, what's his name? Donald Trump,
Yeah.
our dear leader.
What's his name?
Donald.
The golden leader?
The golden, the orange slice. No, he said that back in the day. They have the interview of him where he's like, what did he say? He goes, he was fighting with the casino,
Yeah.
and he was like, they don't look Indian. That was his quote.
Yeah.
They don't look Indian. And everyone's like, well, that's, you know, well, what's Indian look like then?
Yeah.
You know, like racist mother. But it was like, that comment shows a way of thinking. They don't look Indian because we're supposed to, you know, speak our language and dress
Have
like they
long
did.
hair.
Meanwhile, you don't see white people dress like, you know, Abraham Lincoln, or you don't see them dress like George Washington anymore.
Yeah.
They can change, but us, we have to still wear buckskin.
Yeah.
But either way, like the image of what we are, you know, where's our language, our culture, our tradition, or where's our community? You know, that's supposed to be how we define ourselves. But like you're right though, the more we keep spreading out like that, under their rules that we're playing with.
Yeah, and the more we keep spreading out, the more we're just allowing them to divide us.
Yeah.
You know, what are we gonna be 20 years from now? Honestly, probably fucking nothing.
If we keep playing by those rules, that's a real likelihood, right?
Yeah.
Because people, like, not just this res, and I've talked around to people, but like almost every res in our region, and I know a lot of places, the enrollment, the population hit the absolute lowest in the 20s.
Yeah.
You know, hit the absolute, across the board everywhere. There was yellow fever, there's all kinds of stuff that was in our people. Our population been in decline since the Europeans showed up, diseases. But then right around the 20s, it started to flatline and come back up, and we've been in incline, the population is incline. Our res here tripled, the next res over tripled. Almost everyone in our region has tripled in population. But what we're seeing now, the last few years, and then in the next 10 years, everyone's population is stagnant, and it will start to be in decline.
Oh, yeah.
If it isn't already, it's going to be in decline because you're not enrolling a lot of these kids that are turning 18. They're not eligible. And then so the elders are passing away, the older people are passing away, but the young kids, instead of everyone being enrolled, a lot of them, half of them might be enrolled, or a quarter of them can actually be enrolled. And so you see a graduating class 10 years ago, they were all enrollable. You see a graduating class now, and you go, wow, out of like 20 of these kids, only 4 of them were enrolled.
Yeah.
So numerically, you go, okay, well, where are we going to be at, like you said, in 20 years? Numerically, it ain't going to look so good.
Yeah, we ain't gonna
Our
have
tribes
nothing.
are going to start to
You know what? And I'm not just saying this, like, me and my brother have gone round and round about this, like, not round and round, like, about money or nothing, like, I just want to feel like I'm a part of something, you know? Like, it sucks that I can come up here, I can help the youth, I can show the youth, like, at my age now, like what I know. Like, I was over there building the shed for Kylie. I had all the little kids around. I was helping them, showing them how to frame, like stuff like that. Just little things, like showing the kids on my side of the res how to change oil on a car, how, like, doing little things like that. Like, I want to be able to show the kids, like, what life is about, you know? Like, show them life ain't about drugs, money, all this other shit. But at the same time, I want to be able to be recognized by my people. You know, I don't know if that makes sense or not. I don't know if it's too much collusion or whatever the word is for it. But I feel like I'm neglected by my people.
That's sad, man. Because, you know, I don't know. I've known you all this time, and I just think of you as one of the people, you know? But I know you can't be the only one that feels that way.
Yeah.
Because you're not the only one in that boat.
Yeah, no.
You know, and the sad thing is to think that that's what everyone's kids and grandkids are going to feel. You know,
They are.
I've had conversations with others that are in the same situation, and they've said similar things where they just feel like, you know, and some kids don't even know they're in that boat until they become 18, and then they're told like you can't be enrolled, and they're like, wait, what? I had a youth that I was around a lot, and he was in that situation where he didn't even know that he couldn't be enrolled until he turned 18. Everybody turned 18, and they were all going through all these things, and he was kind of told like, oh, you can't be part of this because you're not enrolled.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you mean I'm not enrolled? And his family had to sit him down and say, hey, this is the situation, and he just didn't know it, and it was a bummer to see, and it's a bummer, but you know, with him and with you, I would say too, and there's a couple others where, you know, you guys have made a lot out of yourselves despite all of that, you know.
Yeah.
And I was joking with you a while back, but like saying like it's almost like some of these benefits have almost been a handicap for some of our people, you know.
Yeah.
It's like they get a little too comfortable with it. But I do believe it's a moral thing. I really do. And it's something we're all going to experience. You know, my tribe here that I'm enrolled in, for everybody out there, I'll give you guys an example. You know, like I was talking about my mom. She can't claim her dad's blood because he's enrolled from a different tribe, and that's the, you know, CBQ White Mountain Apache.
Yeah.
So I'm a quarter of that technically if we're going to do the old math. But she married my dad, who has lived in this community now 50 years. He's one of the OGs of bird singing, you know.
Yeah.
There's only a few of them that started, you know, and learned from an old man in the 70s, and if they didn't do that, we wouldn't even have Kumeyaay bird. And so he's been, you know, he's put his time in to help out our nation. But he's enrolled in different tribes. He's enrolled in San Isabel, and so I don't get to claim his blood on my enrollment either. So you would think, you know, I would be able to. He's Kumeyaay too, like me, and he's lived here in his community 50 years, but I don't get to claim his blood. And then I marry a woman from San Isabel, the same res, and both of her parents are from San Isabel.
But your kids can claim.
But I can't claim my wife's blood. I can't claim it, even though both of her parents are Kumeyaay.
But can your kids?
So my kids, now I'm left with this option. I'm left with an option to go, my kids are born and raised in this home here on this res. They've lived their whole life on Viejas Reservation, or like I have.
Do they be enrolled there or
do
here?
we enroll them in Viejas or San Isabel? Now here's the thing. It's messed up because on the books, Viejas rules, they go, okay, my grandma's full, my mom is counted as half because they don't count her dad. I'm counted as a quarter because I don't get to count my dad or my grandpa.
Yeah.
And then my kids are now the eighth because they don't get to count their mom or these other people. And so here in Viejas, they're recognized as an eighth, enough to get enrolled, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool. But their kids are going to be in the same boat you're at right now, having those same feelings.
Exactly.
And it's messed up because if you look on federally recognized, what are they? You know, and that's what makes me think like, well, do I enroll them in San Isabel? You know, we haven't really made that decision yet because they do have a lot of friends in San Isabel. They have cousins and they have family. They love it up there. And I love the people in San Isabel, and that's my second home for sure, and everything. But enrollment-wise, like, I go up there, my kids will be, if I enrolled my kids in San Isabel, they would have more blood than me. They'd have twice as much blood as me. And that's crazy because I'm their parent. And so it's like, what the heck? Because they count all Indian blood.
Yeah.
San Isabel would count, they would take me and they wouldn't say I'm a quarter. They would count my grandfather. They would count my dad. They would count Vanessa, my wife. They would count her parent. They'd count everybody. And my kids would have all this blood up there. And then their grandkids and great-grandkids would be guaranteed enrollment. But here in Viejas, if I enroll them here, as it is now, everything sits, my grandkids are not guaranteed enrollment unless they hook up with someone from this res or Verona. And so the thing is about tribal enrollment is that, and my kids, they all sing bird and play peon, and I mean, I try to raise them as cultures as I can, you know, as I was raised. But you get down to it, and you're like, enrollment is so nuanced. It's so like, there's so much to it. It's not ever just cut and dry like, oh, they just can't make blood, or they're not enrolled, or they're not.
Fucking
it's
greed.
not. And a lot of it has to do with resource, greed, land. Some of it's misguidedness. People try to put a good law, a rule in for the people, and the effect is so negative. Some of it is they, you know, our people were just put into the system, and they just said, this is how it's always been, let's keep it going, without the real understanding that the system was made to kill us, or to wipe us out,
No,
you know,
it is.
to drain us
It
out.
is.
And it's crazy because people get comfortable, you know, I've seen people like in my boat and go like, well, my kids can be enrolled, and they feel comfortable saying that. but it's crazy because their nieces and nephews maybe can't,
Yeah.
or their own grandkids can't. And so it's a real weird thing that we as natives, we really have to like get comfortable talking about it and really start to try to look we're always told like we look 7 generations, 3 generations forward.
Yeah.
But do we? This is a prime example of where we don't.
No.
We don't. In the 80s and the 70s, they should have been looking at
They're
this
looking
in the
about
90s.
right now
Yeah.
and what money I have right now and what bonus I have coming next.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. You know?
I think it's very common.
I like Verona accepts all Indian blood. I have Pueblo and Kumeyaay, and Viejas doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, like so if I got enrolled in Viejas, I'd have less blood than I would if I got enrolled in Verona.
Makes no sense, huh?
No,
the
it
next
doesn't.
row is over, you're more
It
Indian than
doesn't.
if you're here. That's like legit. Like I could have been enrolled in San Isabel too, 'cause my dad's from there.
Yeah.
It's like if I was there, I would be more Indian than I am here.
Yeah.
Like so, I'm less Indian by being raised and born down in
Yeah. And
in this
who's to
community.
say that?
Yeah. And then the whole idea, like I'm more Indian than you, you're more
Yeah.
Indian than me. I'm more Indian than that person. They're more Indian than
Yeah.
like. It's bad enough we got all the super Indians out there trying to out Indian everybody.
Yeah.
But then you go to the like, you're not even part of this, or like I'm more Indian. It's a weird. No other humans do that. I don't think so. I don't know if the African American community is like I'm more black than you, or like the Asian, I'm more whatever than you. I don't know that they do that. I mean, maybe they do, but I don't think so.
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it. I've never
Even like the like we were talking about way earlier, the Middle Eastern communities, like they don't even compare. They just want to help each other. Like, let's grow our community.
That's the one thing that Native world needs to look at is how the Middle Eastern tribes.
Yes.
They're tribal
Let's
people too.
hire our own. Let's
Man.
help our own. Like,
It's such a great model.
yes.
Such a great model, man. People can give those guys grief all they want about.
I don't care if
whatever
they give them
they-
grief or not.
They are
Like,
doing it right.
yes. Look at El Cajon.
They came to this country as refugees
Yes.
decades ago, and now they own half El Cajon, half El
Yes. Yes.
It-
They are
it's-
doing something right.
And a lot of it's like you say, it's because they just support each other. A lot
Yeah.
of this. I didn't realize that, but like I was talking to this kid, and he had his, that's his people, his family, and he was telling me that a common thing at one point was when they'd all come together, they'd all live together in one house, and they would save the money, whatever, and they'd buy a business, they'd all work the business, and then all their other families would only go to their business to shop if they needed
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
So the money stayed in house,
Yeah.
and they would build and save, and then buy another business, and they would kind of do that.
Yeah.
And then if you had a family, like I have a family of 5, like I should probably have a kid that sells cars, a kid that is a plumber, a kid that's
Yeah.
into medicine, a kid that's into lawyer. So
You're
then
gonna
that
have a
way,
fuck up kid.
yeah, you're gonna have one gangster to keep it just to get defense.
Yeah.
You gotta have the, but you have all that, and then so the kid who's a doctor is gonna go buy his nice car from the kid who's selling cars.
Yeah.
When those guys have their house and a leak breaks, you call the plumber over to fix it. All the money just it recycles, and you're building each other up, and you keep that money in house, and you're just investing in your own people.
Yeah.
And over a period of time, you just keep growing and growing those investments, and you build. And I see that, and I go, wow, man, like. In 10 years, I've seen like a couple families come into our town of Alpine, and they got like 5 smoke shops, they got gas stations,
You know
they
what's
got
fucked
restaurants,
up?
they got.
You know what's fucked up? I'll tell you this. A native sees another native creating a good business. That native will tear the other native fucking down to the ground until they won't fucking stand. They cannot see another native fucking come up. I don't know any other natives or any other race that does that to each other. Mexicans, they help each other out. Middle Easterns, they help each other out. Blacks, they help each other out. Indians, you see somebody coming up, they tear them down. Like,
Yeah.
why not help each other out?
I've thought a lot about that. You know what I think it is? A lot of that. I think a lot of it comes from insecurity.
Yeah.
I think you live in a
It
small
is.
community, and like we're all kind of given the same opportunities. Whether you
Uh-huh.
come from a very impoverished res or from a very wealthy res, whatever resource you have, you're kind of you're on even playing field. You grew up in the same community, maybe one family's whatever, but you generally come from a very similar background. And so when you get to a certain stage in life and you see your buddy you grew up with and you know very well, and they're doing really, really well, or they're about to make themselves do well, you have to look at yourself and go like, well, how did they do it when I didn't?
Yeah.
And I think people get very insecure and they just go, you know what, I don't mind that he's doing good, cool, I'll clap for you, but I don't want to see you kill it, because then it makes me look bad, because how come I'm not killing it?
Yeah.
And so instead of being happy and being confident in that we all kill it in our own ways, we just go, well, they look like they're doing better than me and I don't like it. I'm over it.
Yeah.
You know, and then you start to tear each other down. That's why they say, like, it's cool to see someone doing well, but they can't do better than you or better than me, or you start to tear them down. It's a terrible thing, man, and that's another thing that, and I think it's tied into the blood too, because you get those people who are like, I'm good, my kids are good, sucks for you. And it's like, whoa, that's not community. That's not that's not our teachings.
See, and that's one thing, like you said earlier, like what were you saying? Me and Berto are doing better than a lot of people up here.
Yeah.
We were raised up here, me and Berto.
Yeah.
Like, our ties are to this reservation, but we work our ass off to get where we want to be.
Yeah.
And does the tribe, I mean, I'm not asking for a handout, but I guarantee you if we went to the tribe or
the tribe and individuals in the tribe, we should be running to you guys to say, hey, you guys are in construction, we want your company.
Hey, do you want to bid?
Yeah.
Do you want to bid on this? Do you want to bid on this? Like, it's not like that.
It's like t-shirt companies. A lot of natives, you know, when they want to start becoming entrepreneurs, they go into t-shirts.
Yeah.
But then people will be like, I don't want to wear that.
Yeah.
Well, why not? You'll go pay all this money on some shirt.
Oh, it looks like Adidas.
Yeah.
It looks like Nike.
But they'll go buy Adidas and Nike, but they won't go buy their a lot of times they're relative too. They won't buy their own relative shirt to support them, but they'll go spend twice as much on a company that has no impact. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's ridiculous.
So how do we get out of that, man? How do we get out of that?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. We gotta do something about it though, or our race is not gonna be anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, we as a people gotta do something about it, man. But
2-3 decades down the road, our race is not gonna be anything. If we have a president like Donald Trump, we ain't gonna be shit.
Yeah, but did you hear he took out the Wampanoag tribe on the East Coast, right in the middle of all this COVID, when their tribe was there and signed the papers, put it through. They're done. They lost their federal recognition. They're fighting it, and I hope they win. But how many reservations and tribal groups are identified as executive order, which means the president signed that they're a nation? Lot of reservations, some in our area, all over the country, there's many tribes like that.
Yeah.
So what that means is if an executive order, the president signed them into becoming a tribe, the president can also unsign them, right?
Yeah.
Especially if he's got, a house that supports him. So in theory, we get 4 more years of a leader like that, or another one comes that's a little bit worse or just as bad, which definitely could happen. Nothing is guaranteed. It very easily could everyone's trying to get tribal membership and they're holding on to that and they're holding on to this agreed associated to resource, all that could be taken, and then they don't have anything. Then they'll be in this same boat.
Yeah.
And so
Donald Trump comes in and says, "Okay, line you guys all up. Half of you look blonde hair, blue eye, or 3/4 of you look blonde hair, blue eye. 1/4 of you look like Indians. You guys aren't in a federal tribe no more." Then what?
Yeah. These are things that have been talked about.
These are real issues.
But they're real issues. They need to be talked about. I mean, I think, we think about what can we do about it. Number one, we have to admit there's a problem. We have to talk about it. We can't just be cool with it.
Big problem.
Can't be like, oh, we don't want to talk about it. No, let's talk about it.
It's coming to light these days.
Yeah. It is, and it's only going to keep going in that direction.
Yeah.
And we have to be empathetic to each other to try to hear someone's situation. My neighbor, I don't want to mention her name or nothing, but my neighbor, she's like a activist warrior, she does a lot of good in our community. She's one of our younger speakers in the whole nation, and she can't get enrolled here either because of not collecting all Indian blood and things like that. So, you look at people in our communities, like, I know a singer who's not enrolled in his tribe, but he grew up there, he was part of that community, and he's one of their leads, he's their main guy, and it's like they don't give him that shake, you know. And so it's all over Indian country. This very nuanced. What is blood? What is membership? What is, you know? And it's like I don't have the answers necessarily, but I know it ain't right now.
Yeah.
You know. But we got to start talking about it, and we got to kind of be willing to expose ourselves a little bit and talk about it. So, man, I appreciate you coming in and sharing, man, because it takes people like you to kind of say, like, hey, here's what's up, and it's not right, and here's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that a lot of people in this res has even thought about how you feel about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it to light. Like, most people don't even know what I am and what I am not, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people just think, oh, yeah, Aunt, you're enrolled in Viejas. Most people don't even know I'm not enrolled anywhere.
I didn't know that literally until like not too long ago, but a while back, you know. And I remember hearing now, I'm like, what? How does that happen? Like, I know your whole family, like your brother and cousins, you know, on the same rung, they're enrolled, you know, different things like that. Like, I don't know, it made no sense, but
it makes no sense. But I wanted to bring it to light. I was so glad you invited me on this because I wanted to bring this to light. I wanted to bring to light the fighting in Native. Not fighting in a bad way, but fighting in Native communities because I know there's a lot of fighters out there.
Yeah. A lot of the fighters out there in Indian country, a lot of them have like been incarcerated, locked, you know, come out and are trying to get my life straight, and this is what I know, and that's a good thing, you know. Ultimately, we all got to get healthy, you know. My cousin's always been. I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to be running a marathon here one of these days. I made the pledge. Although they canceled the marathon because of everything, the pandemic, so
I'm going to run a virtual marathon?
I am. I think I'm going to do something. I'm figuring it out, but I think I'm going to run from my wife's res to my res and just trek it and be like, I'm live, here I'm starting, run it, and then throughout the day just kind of go live until I get home and do something like that, you know, and hopefully there's reception where so I'm going to cut through the mountains, so hopefully I don't pass out and there's no phone reception. Yeah. Say, come get me. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to come back, you know, I'm going to go through the mountains and... So I've been training on that, but no, you know, like whatever way to try to get healthy, you know, and that's what this is all about. That's why we do this Life from the Res, you know, is like trying to put out a true story perspective of what we're experiencing, what we're facing. It's not all, you know, Indian flutes in the background and walk 10 laps at the powwow, you know, like we got some real issues, man, you know, people dealing with stuff. We got, you know, and then we got some real structural stuff we got to deal with, our enrollment, you know, and staying healthy and promoting each other, building up our business, but supporting one another, stopping the crabs in the bucket thing. You know,
we gotta support each other. Period. Like, there's no reason we can't live like the Middle Easterns and support each other and hire in our own. You know, like we should be able to own Alpine right now.
It's our land. Let's take it back, man. I believe it. I think we should.
All of our tribes together.
It was no saying we won't one day, man. We're going to get back to it.
We'll get to it.
Because I know one thing, too, is like all of this is a learning. You know, they talk about generational wealth. You got to also remember generational knowledge. Like, this is new money for us, man. Yeah. Like, people who really own that stuff, they're centuries into that economy and that way of thinking, business. We're just learning the non-native economy. Yeah. So, or maybe our kids and grandkids, they won't make those mistakes. But we got to talk about it. So, I appreciate you coming in, man. Yeah. Appreciate everything. With that, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Kickstand, live from the Rez.
Live from the Rez. You have a good night, brother.
That's good. That's a good intro, man. That was good.
Yeah.